And welcome to the Women in Tech video series. My name is Shannon Herman, and I'm a Senior Recruiting Manager for Alexander Technology Group, and also honored to serve on the Board of Directors at the New Hampshire Tech Alliance. One of the things we strive for within the New Hampshire Tech Alliance is to highlight innovative and important people throughout the state that are making an impact in technology. The Women in Tech video series is part of our Tech Women, Tech Girls initiative. Today we have Margie Myers, who's the Sales Enablement Leader over at Hubbell. Welcome, Margie.
Hey, thank you for having me, Shannon. So yes, I am the leader of sales enablement technology at Hubbell. We are a 135-year-old company.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is amazing. We are headquartered actually in Shelton, Connecticut, but oddly enough, we have 7 locations, proudly all across the state of New Hampshire. So I do work hybrid, and so I am actually, when I'm in the office, I'm based right here in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking some time to talk. Margie, as far as your career goes, have you always been in kind of the sales and enablement technology, or what was your path there?
Great question. You know, it's interesting. My entire career has been tech related. I absolutely love the tech space. But about just shy of a year and a half ago, I had an opportunity to come into a newly formed department, which was sales enablement. And so essentially, we exist to really help our sales leaders sell faster and sell better. So my space is really providing that technology and that guidance for our sellers across the organization.
Excellent. Now, throughout your career, have there been any specific mentors or leaders that you think impacted your path?
Yeah, actually, I have had a number of great mentors over time. When I think about that, I'd like to almost really highlight not only mentors, but I'd say sponsors as well, because really, when I think about mentors in the sense of providing guidance and advice. At Hubbell, we have done a phenomenal job within our Women's EIG at actually creating a mentorship program it's actually now called Match. We actually expanded a couple years ago to include all of our EIGs,
Awesome.
but it's provided a great formal mentorship program, what started out as women. But then when I think about from a sponsorship perspective as well, I've had some great mentors that subsequently turned into sponsors, and some sponsors that have actually then, in some cases, left the organization and then continued in a mentoring capabilities. So I always like to think of those sponsors as the ones helping you to continue to advance, in some cases being the voice in the room when you're not in that room, and being a cheerleader.
It is. It's so key to have those people in your network. And as you grow, I'm sure you're now on the flip side where you're the sponsor or mentor to others.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
excellent. Now, as a leader, what is your approach to inclusion and really focusing on building out diverse teams or teams that are going to have maybe more women representation on them?
Yeah, it's interesting. Hubbell is a manufacturing company. As I mentioned, we've been around a very, very long time. And unfortunately, we've always, typically been a male-dominated company, just by nature of what it is. And working, me personally, in the technology space, once again, typically male-dominated. So really, the D&I space has become a passion project of mine, in addition to my tech space. I've served for a number of years on our Women's EIG, and presently as the chair of our EIG. And it really, just seeing women continually growing within their careers, so not only professionally, but also personally, just seeing that, I think, has caused me to want to continue to be there for those individuals. And it's really, from a leadership perspective, it's caused me to not only want to make sure we have more solid women on my teams, but that we're able to bring more women actually into our EIG and subsequently into the company as a whole. I'm a big fan of diversity of thought, and we can't have that without having a good cross-section of individuals.
Well, clearly that focus is making you a stronger mentor and sponsor to those that are younger than you in their careers. So that's an awesome impact that you're making, and congratulations on sharing that. That must feel pretty impactful.
Definitely, definitely.
Awesome. Now, you've kind of talked through the success you've had, especially over the last 10 years, building out this resource group. If you were able to look back and, talk to your younger self, what would you share with her?
Oh my goodness, that could take hours. That could take hours. But there have been so many things that I have learned over time. I think if I was to give myself 2 quick bits of advice to my former self, know when to say yes and know when to say no. I think so often you're afraid to say yes for whatever reason. When a certain opportunity comes along, you're fearful. I can't do it. I don't have those skills. I don't have the time, et cetera, et cetera. 1,001 excuses, and you don't say yes when you should. And I don't know how many presentations I've been to as of late where I've heard other women echo that same sentiment. Seize the day, seize those opportunities. You just never know where they might go. On the flip side of that, know when to say no, because I think as women, we tend to take on too much. We think we can do it all. Granted, I do believe we truly can do it all, but I think, that it is an issue sometimes where, there's only so many hours in a day, and we do have to make sure we've got the right priorities in place. So just knowing when to say no and just being able to make sure that you're putting the right things at the top of the list as much as possible, I think is key to anybody's success.
That's awesome. And I think that that's so true, at least, personally as well. It's you in your start of your career, you're kind of afraid to say yes. And then at the middle point or the end of your career, you have to be reminded to say no because you can't do everything.
100%. Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today and sharing your story. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me, Shannon.
You're
This has been
welcome.
great.